Today I'm going to be making and tasting 100 years of school lunchboxes to see what kids were actually eating in each decade, and some of these will shock you. So let's dive in, starting all the way back in the 1920s, and it only gets weirder from there. The 1920s were a time of rebuilding after the First World War. Many families were still living with financial strain, and packed lunches were all about being practical and filling. Refrigeration wasn't that common in homes, so anything that could survive a few hours without spoiling was key. Say hello to corned beef. Preserved in tins with plenty of salt, it was a popular choice. It was affordable, lasted for months in the cupboard, and could be sliced straight from the can into a sandwich. It was salty, hearty, and high in protein, perfect for getting through a long day. An apple would have been one of the more accessible fruits, especially in autumn. They were cheap, filling, and available from local growers. For a sweet touch, a homemade shortbread biscuit. These were simple to make, just flour, sugar, and butter, often made in big batches to last throughout the week. This kind of lunch would have been wrapped in grease-proof paper or cloth and tucked into a tin or a bag. No fancy lunchboxes just yet. So the 1920s to me doesn't look that bad. I quite enjoy a corned beef sandwich, usually. You've got an apple and you've got a shortbread biscuit as well. So let's give it a try. It's so much better with butter. I don't mind a Granny Smith apple. It definitely helps to moisten the sandwich. I love shortbread. I don't mind this lunch. It's just a little bit boring. I'm going to be ranking every decade out of 5 school stickers, and I'm going to give this one 3 stickers out of 5. Moving into the 1930s. The 1930s was shaped by the Great Depression, and many households felt the pinch. Simple, cheap, and filling was the name of the game. One of the most basic and now eyebrow-raising lunchbox staples was the lard sandwich, or bread and dripping. Bread topped with meat fat may not sound appealing today, but it was cheap, calorie-dense, and kept you feeling full. If you were lucky, it might even be sprinkled with a little salt or sugar for extra flavour. Some families might have included canned fruit in their lunch, often peaches. The tins had a long shelf life, making them a practical choice for households trying to make food last. They might be packed into a small jar or wrapped carefully in grease-proof paper if the family had no container. And the digestive biscuit. Invented in the 1800s, they were still going strong. They were affordable and not too sweet, making them the perfect end to lunch. Milk was the primary drink brought to school. Theirs was in a glass bottle. Some schools provided free milk, while others charged a small fee, such as half a penny for a bottle. Okay, now here we are in the 1930s. I don't feel too concerned about the peaches and the digestive biscuits. I am concerned about the lard sandwich. It doesn't sound very appealing to me. So half of it is salt, and the other half is sugar. So I'm going to take a bite of both. Wish me luck. It doesn't really taste of anything. It's not very nice though. Let me try this one. That's the salty side, and it's way too salty. I don't hate it, but it's not a sandwich I'm gonna be making again in 2025. Okay, I'm gonna give this 1.5 stickers. I like the snacks, but if you gave me this lard sandwich today, I would not be happy about it. The 1940s were dominated by World War II and food rationings. With meat, eggs, butter, and sugar strictly limited, families had to get creative. Enter Spam, a tinned meat introduced in 1937. It was salty, protein-rich, and didn't need chilling. A Spam sandwich was affordable and long-lasting. It may not win any flavour awards today, but back then it was even referred to as a wartime delicacy. Fresh fruit was hit or miss. Bananas disappeared entirely from Britain for several years, but pears, if you had access to an allotment or local garden, these were gold. Ginger snaps, also known as ginger nuts, were popular not just for flavour, but also for being economical. They used minimal fat and kept well. They were crisp, spicy, and felt like a treat even when resources were tight. Lunches like this showed how resilient and resourceful people had to be during rationing. Preschool milk was introduced in 1946 and aimed to provide a nutritional boost, particularly when food was in short supply. We're here in the 1940s, and this one looks very similar to the 1920s, although I'm not sure about Spam instead of corned beef. I don't think I like Spam, but let's give it a go. I'm pleasantly surprised. I actually think I quite like this. There's me thinking my entire life I didn't like Spam. I always used to have a pair at my great auntie's house, and this is what her lunch would have looked like when she was a child. Sweet, spiced, crunchy. It's good. I'm actually quite surprised, but I think I might prefer this to the 1920s, so I'm going to give this 3.5 stickers. In the 1950s, after the war, rationing continued, but by the mid-decade, there was a sense of optimism and a return to indulgence. Tinned ham, yes, another tin meat, made a comeback. It was seen as slightly more luxurious than Spam and was proudly layered into sandwiches with sliced tomatoes, which were becoming more readily available thanks to improved transport and refrigeration. Jam tarts were one of the most popular bakes in British households. If you had flour, margarine, and a spoonful of jam, you could whip up a batch. They were usually made with whatever jam you had, strawberry, raspberry, or even blackcurrant from homegrown fruit. These were so popular, they are now a staple in every British supermarket. Tin lunchboxes featuring Mickey Mouse and other pop culture icons became hugely popular. We're in the 1950s, and I have to admit, this lunch does feel like it's missing something, but I'm very excited about the jam tart. Not quite so excited about the tinned ham. I think I've eaten enough tinned meat at this point, but I do like a ham and tomato sandwich, so let's give it a go. The tomato is really nice, and I'm not gonna lie, I don't think I'd be able to tell that it was ham from a tin. This isn't bad. I've given myself a blackcurrant jam tart because these ones are my favourite. I have to admit, jam tarts are definitely better homemade, but it's still really nice. Moving into the swinging 60s, UK households started embracing more American food influences. Peanut butter, though still not as common as it was in the US, was gaining popularity, especially in urban areas. It was high in energy, easy to spread, and shelf-stable. Oranges were a popular lunchbox fruit, particularly now that imports were more reliable and fridges were becoming more common. If you were lucky, your mum peeled it for you. If not, you spent 10 minutes of lunch battling the skin. Crisps started to become a lunchbox staple. Walkers had introduced salt and vinegar in the early 1960s, adding to the original cheese and onion and ready salted. This lunch feels closer to what we know now: convenience, balance, and a mix of sweet and savoury. We're in the 60s now, and I'm very excited to see a packet of crisps and a peanut butter sandwich. I used to love a peanut butter sandwich in my lunchbox, and then the schools banned nuts. Anyway. Claggy, just as I remember it. It's perfect. I feel like oranges can be quite hit or miss. Salt and vinegar crisps are one of my favourite flavours. Let me know what your favourite flavour crisp is. I think mine currently is prawn cocktail. I'm a big fan of this lunch, just not so keen on the orange. I'd probably pick a different fruit. I'm gonna give it 4 stickers out of 5. In the 1970s, lunchboxes were simple but starting to include more shop-bought extras alongside the homemade staples. Supermarkets were becoming more common, so it was easier to pick up pre-sliced bread, packaged ham, and branded snacks all in one trip. A classic sandwich would be jam or cheese and ham, made with sliced white bread, butter, a slice or two of cooked ham, and cheddar cheese. It was a simple, hearty option that kept well until lunchtime, and it felt a bit more special than just plain cheese. Yogurt was finally widely available and affordable, thanks to brands like Ski and Onken. It felt a bit continental, a bit posh. As for chocolate biscuits, you had options: Breakaway, Blue Riband, or the always reliable Kit Kat. There was just something about that loud foil wrapper and finger biscuit combo that felt very school break. Bright plastic or vinyl-covered lunchboxes featuring TV shows, cartoons, sports, or music icons dominated this era. Or you just use whatever Tupperware you had. This is when lunchboxes became more about branded convenience and less about homemade staples. We're in the 1970s, and this lunch actually looks like something that I would have brought to school. It's not far off at all. So let's give our cheese and ham sandwich a taste test. The addition of butter just makes it so much better. I'm not actually sure if I've had a Ski yogurt before, you know? Oh, that's good. And the Kit Kat, still one of my favourite chocolate bars. Not in the original foil wrapper anymore, though. Always hits a spot. I'm going to give this lunch 4.5 stickers out of 5. In the 80s, it was all about the lunchbox flex. If your mum had packed you mini sausage rolls, you were winning. Homemade or shop-bought, they were savoury, satisfying, and easy to prep in batches. For something crunchy and full of flavour, bring in Space Raiders, the alien-shaped corn snacks that came in beef or pickled onion flavour. They were cheap, fun, and had a cult following in playgrounds across the UK. And the penguin bar? Iconic. The jokes on the wrapper were half the experience. Plus, it was a substantial chocolate bar with a biscuit centre, making it feel like a proper dessert. And to wash it all down, a carton of orange juice, often in a little cardboard box with a plastic straw attached to the side. Now we're in the 80s, and I am very excited about this lunchbox. I love a sausage roll, and I like the snacks with this one too. And a carton of orange juice. This really takes me back to my childhood. Bit dry, but it's all right. On to the Space Raiders. Can't remember the last time I had these. They're really good. Kind of like Monster Munch. And the penguin bar. How do penguins get around? On a bicycle. Okay, maybe we'll just eat it. It's a good chocolate bar. Perfect. I'm gonna give this lunch 4.7 stickers out of 5. In the 90s, convenience really kicked off. Parents were working more and manufacturers knew it. Dairy triangles and Lunchable-style snacks were revolutionary, even if assembling your own ham and cheese snacks seem basic now. Hula hoops weren't just crisps. They were jewellery. You had to wear them on your fingers before eating them. It was just the law. If you had animal biscuits in your lunchbox, you were instantly popular at the lunch table. These crunchy little biscuits, each shaped like a different zoo animal, weren't just a snack. They were a game. You'd try to guess the animal before biting its head off, trade your duplicates with friends, or just save the lion for last because it's the king, of course. To drink, Capri Sun pouches were everywhere. Silver packets of sweet, fruity juice that were impossible to open without stabbing the straw straight through the back, at least once. You started to see more variety and more personalisation, but it was still all about what would survive until lunchtime in a sweaty school bag. We are now in the 90s, and this is the decade that I was born in, so this is all looking very, very familiar to me. These I definitely remember having when I was a kid, but haven't had them in years, so I'm kind of excited to try it. There's my little stack. Let's give it a go. Feel like it needs chutney or like a dip of some sort. This feels like a charcuterie board for kids. Hula hoops, I still love these, but usually I'd go for a different flavour, like cheese and onion. This is how you're supposed to eat them, okay? I love animal biscuits. This is something that I still buy. They used to be in the shape of an animal. Now they're just round with the print of the animal on it. It's a bit upsetting, really. I feel like they used to be better. Still delicious, though. I haven't had a Capri Sun in years. Oh, the straws are paper now. Of course they are. They were always plastic when I was a kid. Got it. We're safe. It's all right. Just tastes like squash. I love the snacks in this one. Not so keen on the Lunchable, or Lunchers as they're now called. So I'm going to give this one a 4 out of 5 stickers. In the 2000s, healthy food became more fashionable. Supermarket wraps took over from sandwiches, and falafel, once considered niche, went mainstream. Packed with spices, easy to portion, and vegetarian, it was ideal. Fruit winders were like fruit leather. They were marketed as a high fruit content snack with natural colours and flavours. They were swirled like a mini scroll and so much cooler than just an apple. Yogurt tubes like Frooves made it fun. You could slurp them, freeze them, or even trade them. Cheese strings arrived and quickly became a playground phenomenon. You didn't bite them, you peeled them. And anyone who didn't follow the rules got judged harshly. The drink of choice for many kids was a fruit shoot. The small, colourful bottles with a sports cap you could flip open in one hand. They were convenient, fun, and came in every flavour from apple to orange. We're in the 2000s now, and this is looking like a very fun lunchbox. I went to primary school in the 2000s, so this is definitely something that I would have had. Some sort of wrap and a lot of fun snacks. So let's give it a go. Not bad. I was never a huge fan of cheese strings. I'm not a huge fan of like plasticky cheese, but maybe I'll like it more now that I'm an adult. No, I still don't like it very much. Frubes is something that I used to have a lot of. This one is peach flavour, and that was definitely one of my favourite flavours. These also have jokes on now, too. What is a tornado's favourite game? Twister. Was that better than the penguin joke? Maybe a little bit. Yeah, they're still good. I do enjoy freezing these as well. Onto the fruit winder. I haven't had one of these in years. Oh no, they are so sticky. Let's go for apple and strawberry together. Just as I remember them. And the fruit shoot. I never was a fan of these. This lunchbox was great. It had lots of variety. I didn't love the cheese string and the fruit shoot, but I'm gonna give it 4.2 out of 5 stickers. By the 2010s, the balance between healthy and indulgent became the goal. Chicken Caesar wraps were high in protein, packed with flavor, and they looked good on Instagram. Chocolate rice cakes were the perfect in-between. Sweet but light, just not such a good idea in the heat of summer. Strawberries were everywhere, sometimes even cut into little hearts. The lunchbox was no longer just food, it was an aesthetic. Reusable water bottles had become the norm, better for the planet and your pocket, and smoothie pouches like Innocent Kids were a popular lunchbox extra for a hint of fruity sweetness. We're now in the 2010s, and this is looking pretty good. I used to bring a chicken wrap with me a lot when I went to school, so let's give it a go. That's good, and it feels pretty satisfying too. They're okay. The strawberries cut into hearts are so cute. I don't remember my mum ever cutting my strawberries into hearts. I don't think anybody's got time for that. I had a friend that would always bring an innocent smoothie to school. Oh, that's delicious. It's not bad. I don't love it. I don't hate it. I'm gonna give it a 3.8. Fast forward to now, in the 2020s, lunchboxes reflect variety and balance. Turkey salad sandwiches are lean and protein rich. A few mini chocolate bars, think Kinder, Dairy Milk Minis, or even just one square of dark chocolate. Make it feel like a treat without overdoing it. Some mixed berries or other fruit, blueberries, raspberries, strawberries, and kiwis are now easy to find year-round. Reusable water bottles filled at home are still the norm, often alongside a bottle of Volvic Touch of Fruit. Flavoured still water that still hits the spot without breaking most school rules on sugary drinks. Convenience still matters, but so does health, sustainability, and presentation. So here we are in the present day. We made it to 2025, and this is what the average lunchbox is looking like these days. I love the use of a brioche roll here. Kinder chocolate is one of my favourites, and a great selection of fruit as well. So let's dig in. Love a kiwi fruit, especially a golden one. Oh, that's really good. And to finish, my little chocolate bar. This is perfect. This is exactly what I'd want in my school lunch. I'm very happy with this. I think this is my favourite lunch. I'm going to give it 5 out of 5 stickers. So that's 100 years of packed lunches. And honestly, some of these need to make a comeback, and some never should have been a thing. It's fun to see how history, culture, and convenience shape what we ate. From wartime rations to fruit winders and Dairyly Lunchables. Every lunch tells a story. Which decade would you want your lunch from? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!